This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with SB Sports and Chaco. We're delighted once again to be joined by Ireland's newest golden girl, Kristina O'Hara McCafferty. How do you like that?
It's special.
It's special indeed.
Definitely good. Caught me here.
But obviously special in a way, because obviously, I know we've only spoke 3 months ago and you haven't fought again since, but you had a sensational debut in Sheffield, and in 7 days' time, I guess like probably anybody, and probably you'll say the same this year now, you're out of the ring for so long that obviously now that you're coming back and you've been in the ring, so we can only just expect even better from you next week.
Yeah, 100%. That was as you move up in the ladder, the opponents get better too, and it's a good stage for me to display how I get better too. So I'm looking forward to it. I've put in a good camp, and I've had great sparring, and I'm confident and I'm comfortable, and I look forward now to getting it in and getting it finished.
It's I guess it's the good thing when we follow obviously professional boxers on their social media and see them training and things like that. I can remember you putting clips up, of you sparring yourself, and then that one track mind of going, I'm here training, I've got to focus on what I need to do, and it was getting done. It wasn't, like we can see with social media nowadays that obviously so much of everything you do is all there. Your focus was on, I've got a job to do, I have to fight, I'm training alone, I know the reason why I'm doing it, and obviously it's for these nights you're going to have. Yeah,
well, I mean, being a professional athlete is a job. You have to treat it like a job. You have to show up and you have to give it 100%. Me and Jared are in the gym every single day. There's no days off. I've suffered an awful lot of loss in the family over these last few months, and I still never missed a day in the gym. So I feel like I'm just ready to get in now and make my family proud, and make my son proud, and make myself proud too. Essentially, you're doing it for yourself at the end of the day, and I'm just looking forward to getting it done.
And I know that everybody's obviously the build up and the hype this week with obviously Fury and White tomorrow. Obviously, I know you'd sort of looked at getting tickets and stuff to go to it as well. Obviously, one of your former teammates and Kurt Walker's obviously fighting at Wembley. I'm sure it probably gets you thinking, I'm going to get them chances someday, and that's what it's all about. But you'll wish Kurt all the best, obviously, and getting to walk out at Wembley.
Of course, yeah. I think Kurt's a sensational boxer. I've always thought it. He has a particular set of skills. He is. He's very good, and I wish him all the best.
And obviously yourself.
Also, the tickets that I was looking for, I was trying to get them for my daddy, because it was his birthday last week. So I was trying to get them for him, but it's not paying £2,000 a ticket, Daddy. Wait till I make a couple of quid.
You're not making that money out of boxing yet, so
no, not yet.
Hold off a bit. But obviously you're back in the same venue. Obviously you made your debut in the Hilton in Sheffield next Friday. I know from BoxRec, because obviously as our source of information, it's not showing an opponent down for you yet. Is there sort of an opponent there? It's locked in, ready to go, or I guess is it one of them?
Yeah, we'll have an opponent locked in, ready to go. I think at the minute we're waiting just for the PR team to release it. So I'll not say too much on that, but we're ready to go.
Fantastic. And I guess it doesn't really matter, with someone with your amateur experience and everything else, you're prepared for any style, you're prepared for any sort of person to come across. And I guess it's just the fact of adding an extra 10% on to what we've seen in your debut.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's as I always say, look, if you put in the right training, you take the right steps, it never does matter who's in the opposite corner. Once you know that you've fully prepared yourself, and it is that confidence for you. But once you get your opponent, you have a look, the coaches will go and they'll watch the video and they'll work on they'll make their plan and we'll work on the tactics in the gym. And the last couple of weeks it's came together really nicely. When you get your plan and you start to put it into practice and sparring and put it in the bags and your pad work, and so it's all falling into place nicely. So I'm happy with it.
It's getting it out of the way next week. I sort of wanted to touch on the subject, because I guess it's probably not something you've really been used to before, but you've been called out for the first time as a professional and you're only 1-0. How obviously, for anybody that doesn't know, that Kate Radomska had obviously said that she'd never heard of you before, but obviously wouldn't mind fighting you. Did you find it strange, the fact that somebody was calling you out? Because let's face it, in life, people say your name in sort of in everyday life, people could be saying good things or bad things about you. But for somebody to call you out to fight, you know, what's that sort of about? You going, what have I done to this girl? You know, she's calling my name out. But I guess that's boxing. You know, people want to obviously,
Yeah.
you know, be the first, you know, potentially be the first Irish title fighting women probably ever.
Yeah.
I'll probably be corrected if I'm wrong somewhere, but obviously I guess a chance at creating history somewhere as well.
Yeah.
What did you make of the
100%.
whole call out?
Well, look, if it's something that the team wants to get going, you know, I'm happy to go ahead with it. It was my first time ever being, well, somewhat called out. But you know, people in the game they're trying to make their way up the ladder too, and you know, trying to get that wee bit of publicity for themselves as well. You know, and I will move up the ranks pretty quickly, and I will, you know, I will be a world champion. You know, so for me to manifest that, you have to get these people that are going to come out and say, "I want to fight her." You know what I mean? So I believe it'll happen, and you know, I believe we'll get it on. I'll leave that up to the team to decide, and we've put it out there that we want it, you know. So we'll see what happens after this fight, and which we'll touch base.
Do you take it as a compliment, sort of in a way? You know, from what you're sort of saying there, it sounds like it's a compliment that you know, Kate's obviously calling out a Commonwealth silver medalist. You know, do you take it as a compliment where you're 1-0, but someone's already seen what you have, so they're name dropping you? Do you obviously to get fights?
Of course, it's a compliment. You know, the more people who are saying your name is the more people recognizing you. You know, and saying like, I'm not a stepping stone. I'm not someone you fight to move forward. I'm someone you fight for a world title. You know, I will not be beat, and I will not be made as if, you know, I'm just using you to move my ranks, because I'm not in it for that. I'm not in it to be a journey person. You know, if you're getting in to fight me, you're getting in for serious business. You know, and it is definitely a compliment, because when I was reading the post that she had said that she'd never heard of me before, and you know, what do you do or what do you say? You know, I've put it out there, she's put it out there, so we'll make it happen. You know.
And what's your team? What's your team obviously been saying about it? You know, is that probably potentially bring plans forward if a fight with Kate Radomska can be made? It could obviously potentially be in Belfast. You know, is that probably maybe discussions that could be had that you could be obviously having a fight in Belfast as well, which you probably may not have thought could potentially happen, obviously with your inactivity for the last few years with everything else.
Yeah.
Do they obviously then having a fight in Belfast and going, this is what I want?
Yeah, well, I mean, myself and Jared and our manager, you know, we've all sat down and we have spoke about it. So, but there hasn't been obviously any plans made as of yet, but I do know that it is something that we're looking to get done. And it is something that will happen. So that's all really that I would know on that is, listen, I want it, you know, I want the fight. And so, I mean, we'll focus on this fight that's happening now, next week, you know, and I'll put the offer out again after this one, and we'll go for it.
Probably do it live on TV. They obviously get more of a reaction. Probably put a bit of McGregor style on it, you know.
I don't know about that now. I don't think I'm that kind of person.
You never know when the adrenaline's rushing there, and obviously you've had a big performance, and you know that the happiness is there that you can finally get back to eating properly, you know, again without obviously having to sort of starve. Well, not that you have to starve yourself at the weight you're at, but you can get back to sort of eating normally. What can we sort of expect from you next week? You know, is it probably just what we've already seen and more, or what are you predicting for?
I do, like, as the fights go on and as my training, you know, adjusts, and I start to take, you know, more serious steps in my training. You know, I'm still only 1-0. I've still only had one professional fight. You know, the first one was a massive learning curve for me. What to expect for next time. You know, the atmosphere, the crowds, the cameras. You know, and it was a lot to take in, and it was very overwhelming. This time, I'm a lot more calm about it. You know, I'm a lot more like just relaxed, and the thought of, I know where I'm going, I know who I'm going with, I know the schedule, I know the running order, I know, you know, I'm a lot more comfortable. Whereas the first time, like, you just don't know, you don't know what to expect or anything like that. So I am a lot more a lot more comfortable this time around, and I do believe that will show in, in the ring, but there's not a lot of tension or pressure, or nerves or anything like that. It's more just, I'm a lot more just ready to go, and not so much worrying about, oh, what's going to happen, because this is my debut and this is the first step of the rest of my life, so I'm definitely a lot more calm, and I'm a lot more confident too this time around. I've put in, as I say, I've put in a good camp. I've had great sparring. I'm getting my meals every day, and by Prem Catering. So I am definitely feeling good, and
And
I'm looking forward to it.
And obviously, it's going to be a double Irish weekend next weekend. Obviously, Katie Taylor fighting around the Serrano for all the belts at 135. So definitely the focus is turning rightfully so on the Irish female professional boxing next weekend. But obviously, you'll get your one on Friday night, and then you'll probably be at home on Saturday night with the Chinese and sitting down to watch Katie's fight with matchsticks, keeping your eyes open.
I would have a pizza every night if I wanted, but yeah, definitely. Listen, female boxing has come so far in the last couple of years, and it still has so far to go. There's no doubt about that either. There's still people in boxing who do not accept that females can fight. There is still people there, and it's a very small handful of people, but it's still happening. And you still hear, like, even meeting people for the first time, and you tell them, no, I'm a professional boxer, and they kind of look at you and, like, hardly, you're about 2 stone.
Mm-hmm.
And you just know what they really mean with their face and their body language, and like, you're a woman and you're small, and I'm small but I'm mighty. But it has come a long way, and I still do believe that there's a whole lot more.
Nearly sounds like your pizza choice is small, mighty, meaty.
Meat face, is that what they call it?
Meat face or something like that.
Yeah. I'm actually a very plain girl. I only like cheese.
Only like cheese and a pizza.
Cheese and extra cheese.
Cheese and extra cheese. But obviously, you get next weekend out of the way. Obviously, I know we've talked about Kate Radomska and obviously potentially a fight there. Yeah. But when are you obviously hoping that Unified Promotions get you out again after next weekend? Because it's been about 5-6 months maybe since your debut.
Well, November was my debut. Yeah, the end of November. Look, I'm happy enough to get out again whenever the team want me to get out again. I think it's pretty clear that I stay in camp anyway. I do like to be always sort of 70% fit. So after the fight, I'll take a couple of days. I'll spend a bit of time with my family and my son, and my husband, and I'll catch up on my pizzas and Chineses, and then I'll be straight back in the gym again. But most importantly, I'm just looking forward to going, getting the job done, and then coming back to my son. Because it's very hard to leave him.
Well, at least obviously, if he's allowed to sit up long enough to watch it on the TV, and I know it's on. Is it sporty?
Sporty stuff.
Sporty stuff, so it's on TV again, so everybody's able to tune in for free as well, which is obviously massive in helping your development as a professional and building probably what nearly used to be the old style that people were on ITV and things like that, and they built through terrestrial TV into things. I was probably thinking as well, obviously, maybe Suzanne, that obviously runs Unified Promotions, is maybe probably looking at the potential of maybe getting you onto some of the bigger TV cards, potentially obviously getting you a slot to get your name out there, probably even more as you get closer to achieving your dreams. Yeah,
well, hopefully. I mean, that's the main goal at the end of the day, to get yourself out there as much as possible. And all I see is a world champion, and no matter what it takes to get there, I'll get there. So whether it's on the biggest bills in the world or the not so big bills, it doesn't matter. They're all in preparation for where I'm going. I get this time in 2 years, 1 year, whatever it may be, I could still be in Sheffield, in the same place, in the same venue, and it doesn't matter where it is. I will be a world champion. So like the big wigs and the big shows and whatever, it doesn't appeal much to me, because at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about what you're doing in the ring and what you're doing for yourself to get there. And I know that me and my team will get there.
Definitely, attitude they come. You don't need to have 50,000 people watching your fight for you to become a world champion. As long as you get your aim and your goal, you know, that's all that matters.
Obviously, it's good to have too. You know, you do want that support system, and you do want, you know, to be on them big things. But it's not the most important thing. You know what I mean? You put the work in, you manifest what you want. You work hard, you fight hard, you train hard. You know, you be good, you do good, and it comes back to you. So it really doesn't matter where it is or who it is or whatever. It'll happen. I know it'll happen.
Definitely will. Well, look, obviously, I know we promised we weren't going to keep you too long. Obviously, thanks once again for stopping by and having a chat with us, and obviously all the very best of luck with your fight next week. Obviously, for anybody tuning in, obviously we'll be keeping people informed through social media throughout the week, and I'm sure we'll catch up again soon, Kristina.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks very much for having me on.
Not a problem. Cheers. Take care.
All right.
Thanks.
See you later.
Bye bye. Bye bye.